Hello guys, my name is Confident. In session as you guys are preparing for your final exams, it might be maybe you're preparing for your next exam and you want to get a little bit of some revision session in your mathematics N1. So what I did, I thought of coming up with a full question paper revision just to show you if ever you were in how you can approach that paper. So it will give you some strategies, it will give you some concepts you can apply, and I hope this section will be of benefit to you. Now let us dive into this question paper. Now this paper was written, it's a Department of Higher Education first, just to clarify that this is a Department of Higher Education and Training paper. As you can see, usually call it DHET. It's a National Certificate Mathematics N1, and that this paper was written on the 25th of July 2019, and maybe that is the reason why I chose this paper in particular, because on this 25th of July it's a special day for me because it is my birthday. I mean, I was born on the 25th of July, not 2019, of course. I mean, 25th of July is a special day for me. So, well, I was invigilating on this day when this paper was being written, and you can imagine to invigilate and to work on your birthday. But anyway, it is a special day for me. But let's look at the question paper and forget about that. It's a 3-hour paper. Usually it's called an X paper because it's written in the morning, and then says in the requirements you will use a graph paper. I hope we have a graph paper in this paper. And then it says non-programmable calculators may be used. So in this case you can use any calculator, especially the scientific Casio. The one that I suggest, I've got, let me show you what I have here as my calculator. This is what I'm using. It's a Casio calculator, and then it says FX82ES plus. There is another one, the latest version, it is FX82ZA plus. That one I will encourage it, and the main part where it's different is in the sketching of graphs, because when you say mod setup, actually when you say mod and then you say 3 for table, you will find that it allows you to plot two graphs. It has got f of x and g of x, so I will encourage that one. But the one that I'll be using is the one that I just shown you. And then when you continue with this paper, it says consists of 6 pages and 2 formula sheets. So don't forget, there are formulas in your mathematics N1, so you must utilize those formulas so that you don't get the formulas wrong. Let us look at a few instructions that are more important for your paper. This is one area that students sometimes take for granted because they thought the instructions are always general, but it's always good for you to read instructions. Just to start here again, it says this paper is a 3-hour paper, and the mark allocation, this paper is out of 100. And a few instructions. The first instruction says answer all the questions, so everything there you have to answer. It says read all questions carefully, that's standard. Then it says number the answers according to the numbering system used in this question paper. So don't come up with your own numbering, please maintain the numbering that is given. And then sometimes students take it lightly. You find that they start now saying 3.1.1.1, which is not given, you know. So try to maintain your numbering. Now question 5.13 and question 2.7.23 must be answered on a graph paper. They will specify when we get there. It says show all formulas. You see, it's very important part. Make sure that you write the formula as is first before you substitute. And then it says intermediate steps. You need to show them, as well as simplify where possible. So don't leave your answer and that is not simplified, so you must try to simplify as far as possible. Says the next part says round off all final answers to 3 decimal places unless indicated otherwise. So every answer that we're going to get which has got decimals, we're going to round off to 3. Says questions may be answered in any order, meaning you can answer from question 7, you can answer from question 4, you can start at any question, But whenever you start answering that question, it says the subsections of the questions must be kept together. So if you, let's say you start answering question number 4, you must answer all your 4.1, your 4.2 until the end of question 4. Now don't mix up whereby in one side you have got 4.1, then you move on to have 5.2. So you're mixing, these are subsections. They don't allow you to mix those subsections. So if it happens that you have started with question, for example, question 4, and you feel like you don't discover that you don't know actually question 4.2. So let's say you have got question 4.1, but you don't know question 4.2. So now you go for 4.2, just leave some lines so that now you can go to 4.3. Later, you can revert back to your 4.2 and try to do that one. So that you don't break. The instruction says questions must be answered in blue and black. I don't know how many times students you find that they are using other green pens. They are using some, when they are writing the exams, you find the student is also coloring their work. They write question 1 maybe in a blue pen. Now 1, they use a pink pen, just to make it look beautiful, but that is not necessary. The aim is not to beautify your answers, but to just be standard. It's either you're using blue or you're using black. And then when you're drawing, you can draw with a pencil. Please don't write with a pencil because they will not mark that. That's why it says writing in pencil will not be marked, because it is assumed it is rough work. So please ensure that everything you're writing is in blue or black. If you feel that you want to draw your sketches in blue or black, also it's fine. They won't penalize you, but you can draw your sketches in a pencil. Whenever there is writing, not drawing, not sketching, it must be in pencil. And then write neatly. Don't be clumsy with your work. Try to be neat as possible. So now let us look at this question. This is question number 1, starting the paper. So if you're writing that paper, they will say you can start. Before they say you can start, please don't start. You are reading those instructions 15 minutes or 10 minutes before they will give you this paper to read your instructions. So now, after that, that's where you end. You can actually go through this paper, you peruse through until the end, But when they say start, this is where you're starting your question 1. Now, as they said, you can answer the questions in any form. You're allowed during that waiting time 3, 4, 5, 6, you go through your questions just to understand what you're given. There is the formula, okay, there is a diagram of the formula, so all these formulas, so you're just going through the paper and you're trying to get a feel how this paper is. Now question 1, for the sake of this, I'm going to start from question 1. It says simplify the following using exponents. All right, I must use exponents without using a calculator. So they don't want me to use a calculator, but most of the time when they say I must not use a calculation 1.1, is there a way I can use a calculator? I discover it's not going to be easy for me because the x there, I've got x. But if it was possible, I will actually use the calculator because I need to know the answer before I start working on it. So 1.1. So what I'm given here is 5 times 3 root, that is cube root of 8 x to the power of 6 times 3 x squared. What you need to notice is that this part is alone. If you can just a little bit deal with that, this is cube root of 8 x to the power of 6. You see that part? That is the main thing that needed a little bit of attention. Now, how do you simplify that one? That one is same as saying you put a bracket. The word cube root means it's 1/3. That is that part. And then remember 8, they said I must not use a calculator, but I told you that is when I take a calculator. Now 8 is same as 2 to the power of 3. It's 8. So what I do here, I will have 2 to the power of 3 x to the power of 6. That's what I'll be having. So if that is the case, I can then move on to simplify this problem as equal to 5 times, and then I've got 2 to the power of 3 x to the power of 6 bracket. Remember that cube root is power 1/3 as a power, times 3x squared. Alright, and then when you continue doing that, now this power 1 over 3, it will affect and multiply each and every power there. So you'll have 5 times, you have to open that bracket, which is 2 to the power of 3. See what is happening to that power? That's what it's doing. And then you've got x to the power of 6 again times 1 over 3. So you have distributed that 1 over 3 to both 2 and x because they were in the bracket, and then times 3x squared. See what's happening? Which is equal to, now you can simplify that to get a power 1. You can say 6 times 1/3, you can use a calculator there, but you'll get a 2. So what you have is 5 times 2 to the power of 1, x to the power of 2, times 3x to the power of 2. So this is what you're having. Now what you need to do now is to collect numbers together and the x's together, which is equal to 5 times 2 to the power of 1 times I've got x squared, right? And then times, in that 3x squared is another x squared there. So when I multiply in terms of these numbers, as I say, they won't penalize you using a calculator here to multiply. It's 5 times 2 times 3. Anyway, they won't see that you use the calculator because they were not there when you're writing this paper, those who are marking it. So it's 30x. Now you must see now x squared and x squared, it's 2 plus 2, which is equal to 30x to the power of 4, because there are 4 of them. 2 and 2 is equal to 4. Now how do you quickly check your answer? You just choose any value, say let's x is equal to 4. So what you simply do, that is always very important for me. I keep on checking my answers whenever I'm working because I just want to be sure that I got it right. The original, and say 5 times cube root of, and then it's 8. I can put a bracket. Remember my x, I said let my x be equal to 4, so I put a 4 to the power 6 there, and then after that play forward times 3x, which is bracket 4, like that. All right, and then I'll get the answer, which is 7,680. Now just take note of that answer. I'm going to put it in my final answers to see if ever it's giving me 7680. So I've got 30 bracket 4 to the power 4 bracket. Am I getting 7,680? Yes, I'm getting 7,680. So it means my simplification in this case is correct. So you see, I get an assurance that I'm doing the right thing. So this was question number 1.1. Let us move on. That is 2 marks. Let us go on to question 1.1.2. We are supposed to simplify this part here. We are looking now at this question 1.1.2, and this is what we're given. Now how do you approach that part? This is 4 marks. It's good marks. Now that square root is the same. You can write this question, that square root, there is a 2 there, so this is same as saying you put that and you put power half. That's what that square root is meaning. Now 4 is same as 2 squared, a squared, b to the power 4. I hope you are seeing that, over. Now what is 9? 9 is 3 squared. You need to know these numbers, like 4, 8, 9, 16. You need to know these numbers. Now you must express them as exponents, and then times, and then you've got 3a. Now 0, you must understand that this 0 is only affecting that b. So if the 0 is only affecting that b, it is very important for you to know that any number to the power of 0 is 1. For example, 9 to the power of 0 is 1. 89 to the power of 0 is 1. So here, where there is b to the power of 0, they wanted you to recognize that you put a bracket, that it's a 1 there. That is what they wanted you to recognize there, and they'll give you a mark for that. and then after that you say times, now 4b squared there. 4, remember, is 2 squared b, close it, and you have the 2 outside. Then when you have done that, the reason now why I was doing that is to now distribute. This half will affect each and every power. Don't forget, each and every power inside will be affected by half. That is the top as well as the bottom. Don't forget that. You must distribute the half to each and every item, including the numerator as well as the denominator. So how do you do that? It will be 2. This is 2 times half. See that half? A. 2 times half. See what's happening? 4 times half. Remember, this power over 3. 2 times a half. So most 3 to the power of 2 is also affected by that half, by virtue of the bracket, as you can see that. And then you have got times 3a, and then times, now again this 2 here, I can use a different marker there. This particular 2 here is also that. Now the b there, if they don't include any power, it means by default is a 1, so it will multiply as with a 1. So what you'll be having is 2 to the b to the power of 1 times 2. That is basically what it means. So when you've done that, you go on to simplify, and in your simplification, 2 and 2 cancel to get 2 to the power 1. That one also, a and 2 cancel to get a to the power of 1. 2 and 4 cancel to get b to the power of 2 all over. In 3, the 2 and the 2 cancels to get 3 to the power of 1 times, we have got the 3 there is 3a, and the 2 times 2 is 2 to the power of 4. 1 times 2 is b to the power of 2. I think you see where it's going. Anyway, let's continue with that. And then what do we get? Now you can see, now this is a fraction on this part, is a fraction. So this part, I'm allowed also to take this side and divide by 1, so that everything is a fraction. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. So if I divide this by 1, 1 3 is on top and the other 3 is at the bottom. They can cancel each other. So when you've done that, you have removed all, because when you cancel you get a 1 there. So it means you don't have any fraction anymore. So you are having collect like terms on top. When you collect like terms on top, you'll have 2 to the power 1. That is the part on 2. There is another 2 there, times 2 to the power 4. Everything is multiplying. Let me just remove this 1 here so that it doesn't affect. It was over 1 there. So it's 2 to the power 4. And then no other numbers. I go to the letters, a to the power 1. Now we have another a here. Look at that part. We have another a. So if we're not given any power, it's times a to the power 1. And then let's go for b. It's times. Even if you don't put a times, it's still fine. Or you can put a dot like this. It's still allowed. This is b squared dot. That is the 1b. And there is another one there, which is b squared. So whether you put a dot, you put a times, or you don't put anything between the letter and the number, it's fine. But between the numbers, you must always put a multiplication or a dot. Now 2 to the power 1, so and 2 to the power 4, it will be, you need to add 1 plus 4 there, because you can see that 4 and 1 shows that they are 5, times a, 1 plus 1, so that you add them, and also times b, you have got your 2 plus 2. So the answer therefore become 1 plus 4 is 2 to the power 5, a to the power of 2, and b to the power of 4. This is what you get when you simplify that. Now, as an assurance, as I told you, I always feel much better if I test my answer. So what I do, I choose any value of a. For example, say let a be equal to 2 and let b be equal to 3. I use that value of a and b in the original and see what I'm getting. So the first one is square root of that fraction. It's 4. Remember my a, I said let my a be equal to 2. So it's 4 bracket 2 squared, close that, and then bracket b, I said let my b be equal to 3, so it will be 3 to the power of 4, and then close that bracket, and then I go over 9 forward times, and then it's 3. Remember my a is 2, and then my b in this case is 3 to the power of 0. Alright, and then times bracket 4, I can say times b there, which is 3. Everything is to the power of 2. Now if I do that, I'm getting 10,368. So here is 10,368. Keep this number, go to my final answer, and see if it is going to give me the same answer there. So what I do, I use the same values of a that I did. I said a is 2 and b is 3, just simple numbers. It's 2 to the power of 5, and I've got times a, I say it is 2, okay, I've already said times, so it's 2 to the power of 2, and b, I can put a bracket or times, b is 3 to the power of 4. Then if I do that, I'm getting 10,368 here. It's 10,368. So if I compare these two numbers, 10,368, 10,368, it means whatever I was simplifying is still maintained and I am on the right track. So this is what I usually do, and I will encourage you to always keep testing your answers like that. So that was the question that we did. It's question 1.2, you get your 4 marks. Let's look at question 1.13. Question 1.13, you are given 8 times a to the power that times 2 to the power that times 16 to the power that. Now, what do you look for in such? Now, the most important thing is to express everything. 8, 2 and 16, that confuses a lot. Now, I need to express everything in the same base. Now, I know that if I take my calculator and I write my 8, you can see that 2 to the power of 3 is my 8, right? And 16 is actually, if I delete there and say 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So I can write everything in terms of 2 so that the base is the same. So I will have 2 to the power of 3, right? Then, but there is x plus 3 here, which is confusing. Now the question is, how do you write it? If you leave it like that, automatically it looks like 2 to the power 3x plus 3. So what you need to do is either you put a bracket here to protect, is the one which, remember, this is my 8. So that's what I'm trying to actually to protect there. So 3 in bracket, or you can actually do it like this, to say 2 to the power of 3 and protect it the other way around. This is actually much better. You know why? So that this 3 can affect the other 3. So instead of it looking 2 to the power 3x plus 3 is now 2 to the power. I hope you're getting that. The next one is 2 to the power of 3x plus 2, and times 16 was 2 to the power of 4, again bracket x minus 1. So please do that, and trust me, you will get it right. So now expanding in the first one will become 2 to the power of 3x plus 9 times 2 to the power of 3x plus 2 times, now also expand that part, it will be 2 to the power of 4x minus 4. Instead of minus 1, if you didn't put a bracket, it will be now minus 4. When you have got the same basis, remember these are the same, and this multiplication, you add the exponents. So you write the base, now the exponents when you're adding them terms. So I'll take 3x plus another 3x plus another 4x, go for the numbers, plus 9 plus 2 plus negative 4. So when I do that, is 2 now, or you can add it if you can. So it's 3 plus 3 plus 4. All right, I get 10 there. So I have got 10x plus, then I've got 9 plus 2 and minus 4. What does it give me? which is 9 plus 2 minus 4, it gives me a 7. So it's 10x plus 7. So this is the final answer. You get your 3 marks for. Again, what do? I test it. I think you can see that everything I'm doing, I'm testing. Choose any value of x. Let's say x is equal to 7. So I will test it whether it's x. Again, I test with my answers if they are the same. So let's test it. In the first one, I've got 8 to the power of 7 plus 3, right, times 2 to the power of 3 times 7, or 3 bracket 7, still fine, plus 2, play forward, times 16 to the power of 7 minus 1. Right, getting a long answer, which is 1,511 times 10 to the power 23. So it's 1,511 times 10 to the power 23. You know, the aim is just to get look, then you're good to go. Now look at the next one quickly. Try this other one on the final answer. 2 to the power of 10 bracket 7 plus 7. It's actually 10, not 1 there. Right, getting a long answer, which is 1,511 See if I'm getting that same number,
10 to the power
1,511
so
times 10 to
1
the power 23, which is exactly the same number that I got. It means I am on the right track. So my answer is correct. So that is what I do just to get that kind of assurance to say, you know what, I'm on the right track. Remember, there are many errors that can happen whenever you're under pressure, whenever you're panicking. You're bound to make errors, but if you keep testing like this, you are calming your nerves and you're getting even more better as the exam proceeds. I know people are asking, what is that sign? You know, it's a kind of danger sign. Some people, when they see this, they are thinking the question that they're giving here is the most difficult question. But well, it's just I think they're kind of marking this paper in paper, you know, a way of signature, in a way to say the paper that is written for the maths for this block, it must have that mark. It's got nothing to do with the difficulty of the paper. Okay, now let us move on to 1.2. Now question 1.2, it says simplify the following logarithms without using a calculator. Without, so do not use a calculator. But you know what I do? Whenever it's possible, like 1.2.1, it allows me to use a calculator, and I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to take my calculator and find the final answer. So quickly, I have got log 4, and don't hide it when you're punching it, thinking that the invigilator will see you. You can just punch it. Don't worry, no one is going to penalize you. Those guys who are invigilating, they won't even mark your paper, so don't stress. Minus log. I've got a student who used to hide whenever they say don't use a calculator, and he'll be hiding this calculator. Now it's like you're cheating, you know. But this is the right way of cheating. Punch the calculator, you get a 1. So you know that here I must get a 1. The question is, how did the calculator get a 1? So let's solve it. Now log 4 plus log 2 over log 16 minus log 4. Now logarithm says if there is addition, remember you multiply. Let's check our formulas just out of interest. Is there any laws of logarithms? Unfortunately, you don't have the laws of logarithms here. So the logarithm says if there is addition on the logs, you multiply. So this is same as saying log 4 times 2. This is the first law of logarithms. And then it says when there is subtraction, you divide. So it will be log 16 over 2. That is the law of logarithms. And then when you do that, now log 4 times log 2, it will be log 8 on top over, now log 16 divided by 2 is also log 8. So log 8 cancel log, now cancel log, and you get 1. Now don't do this what students usually do. They'll say when they're cancelling, they cancel that and cancel that, they cancel the 8 and cancel the 8. Please, the log is not separate from 8 because it does not exist. The log goes together with 8. So whenever you're cancelling as it's one thing with that. So log 8 into log 8 is 1. That is the same answer which the calculator got, so we're good to go. So that is how you get your 4 marks. It looks simple, but they would have marked you there and they marked you there. Now the fact that you multiplied, you find that maybe they give 3 marks there, or maybe 2 marks on top, 2 marks bottom. You finding log 8 and then getting 1 mark, then they give you 5 marks for that.
Okay, you got it. Loads of people told.
So this was
it's across the bar,
a cool 2 marks that you could have, a cool 4 marks that you could have used there. Next one, I'm not going to use other alternatives for now, but let's just go to the next one because of time. Now you're given 4 log 332 plus that.
Yeah, you got it.
Now,
looks like
just want to show you something.
Below, so
you see this power 3,
excellent. And
according to the laws of logarithms, this power 2, it must
was that
drop down there. Now, anything that I'm working on here, guys, just to stop again, anything or any strategy that I'm using here is explained in detail in all of my lessons. If you can grab hold of my lessons for Mathematics N1 as well as the textbook, which is Mathematics N1 for the underdogs, I think you will actually be cruising whenever I come to this section, because it's not difficult after you have gone through my lessons to even get a total or 100% from this exam, because I extensively deal with such things. So again, coming back to this, what am I saying here? I'm saying, you see this 2, it will drop down to 24. When it drops down, it's 4. Don't forget that. It doesn't become 24, it becomes 2 times 4 log in base 3 of 3 plus 4 log in base x of x. Seeing that? Now, 2 times 4, you get your 8. Now, log 3 of 3 is 1. You can test that with your calculator. There is a law for that.
Again, looks like a few thousand.
But you can just test with the calculator and say, log 3 of 3. You can see it's a 1. Any number of 15, it's a 1. It's a law. So which means log 3 of 3, your bracket is 1. Plus 4, again, you see, log x of x, bracket is 1. So you've got 8 plus 4, the answer there is simple 12. That's it. You can test it, choose any value of x there, say x is equal to maybe 3, you put 3, when you add this thing, it will give you 12. That was 16 marks that we're getting in total.
Incredible training course.
So
and we hold it in our office.
It was not difficult for you to get all those 16 marks. There were some basic things that you could have used in terms of the concept that you're using. Question 2, it says 3 marks there. Just want to show you if you can see those 3 marks. What did I say? It say 2.1 now. We are looking at that. Question 2. It says from this, subtract this from. When they say from, the moment they say from, you identify what is the starting point. So from means start from, means start.
There are 5 other
so we start from 6a plus 4b plus 10. So from that, subtract means minus. Now, minus what? Subtract 8 minus 2b minus 2a. If you wrote it like that, trust me, you have got it wrong already. You are not going to get it right. The reason being that, yes, subtract means minus, but where is the error? If you forget that bracket there, because this negative is affecting the 8, it is affecting that. But the way I had done it, let me go backwards. You see, I just said subtract and I left it like that. It means you're only going to say